Hi, hello, and welcome to another video. Today we are doing a beginning of the year declutter, out with the old, in with the new. First, starting with foundations and concealers. Let's all brace ourselves. Here's the pile that I am working with. This is way more than anybody needs, and I don't even have a lot compared to most beauty content creators. So, concealers. Gonna take them all out first. Some of these are color correctors. They may stay, they may go. There is no reason for one person to have this many open concealers. And I've been going through my stories on Instagram and YouTube videos to see what I have had for more than a year. Most concealers are going to give you 12 months. Some of them I might break that rule on, so we'll just ignore that. I'm going to start here with my Tower 28 concealer. When I first bought this, I found that it creased like crazy. And it still does, but it has quite a bit of coverage and it's really hydrating for my under eyes, which is more of a priority to me than creasing because I can always set with a powder and kind of help myself out with that. So I am keeping the Tower 28 one because I know I've not had it for a long time. The Pacifica Dreamlit Glow is another favorite. Pacifica is very hit and miss on their color cosmetics, but I find that this one was really good. A lot of coverage, it's pretty creamy. I would put it on like the medium scale of creasing. So I am going to keep this one as well. So far I'm not doing very well. I feel bad because this used to be one of my favorite concealers, but the Kosas Revealer Concealer I am going to get rid of. I am not reaching for it. And to me, it's very similar to the Tower 28 one, but I have had this one for a longer time and it tends to expire quicker. So this one gets the kick. This is the Glow Wish Bright Light from Huda Beauty. Claims to be a sheer concealer. On me, it really pulls more medium. It has a 6-month shelf life, so I received this when it first came out, which was definitely more than 6 months ago. And just the sheer volume of concealers I have, it's time to let this one go. This one, however, is one of my absolute favorite concealers. It's one of the least creasy concealers in my collection. It's a keeper faux show. Also going to keep this one from Fit Glow Beauty because I really love to use this one on blemishes. It's not one that I reach for every day kind of situation, but I definitely do reach for it. It's also very expensive and I want to get as much out of it as I can. I have a couple shades of the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. I love this concealer. Did not expect to like it because I assumed that it would be really matte and drying on my eyes, but it's not. One of those that is lower on the crease scale. I have Royal Icing and Marshmallow. I'm going to keep Marshmallow. It's a better match for my skin, and that's that. Yenza sent over their Super Serum Silk Concealer, and I have the shade Fair 1. Honestly, I haven't given this enough of a chance to know how much I like it or not, so I think for that reason I'm going to keep it. It is a very thin formula, but packs a pretty good amount of punch. So this one is on the watch list. I am going to keep it. Actually, I just had a thought. I got these little tabs to keep track of what content is going on what platform by color. Say like I have YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and I'll have an extra color left. So I think I'm going to grab the yellow ones and use these for my watch list. Literally just had this idea. So I'm going to place this just around the Yenza concealer, and this little extra bit I'll just trim off so it's not like flopping in the wind every time I use it, but hey, there's a way to remember the watch list. The Jane Iredale Pure Match Liquid Concealer is another fairly new one to my collection. I have been loving Jane Iredale in 2023, so I do believe I'll keep this to keep experimenting with it in 2024. Not doing so good, y'all. I am, however, going to get rid of this NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer, not because it's bad. It's actually a wonderful concealer, especially if you have drier under eyes. However, just like the Kosas concealer, which I think, this is a dupe for, this only has a 6-month shelf life. Now, do I believe it can be extended? Yes, let's be real. But, again, sheer number of concealers I have, I need an arbitrary reason to get rid of it. The Live Tinted Concealer has become another favorite. It's like second to Kulfi in my collection. I absolutely love it. I especially love that the applicator is a little brush. I don't know, it just makes it more fun to apply. So I'm going to keep this one. Moving on to the Rare Beauty Concealer. This used to be one that I used nearly every time I did my makeup. It was on my favorites list for a couple of years. I'm in the shade 140C. I think this is still a fantastic concealer. I used up 2 entire bottles, and this one's just been kind of neglected. I have other things in my collection that I'm reaching for more, and you know, decluttering the ones that are good but I'm just not reaching for like hurts a little extra. But it needs to be done. Unfortunately, it is kind of like money down the drain if the people I pass it on to can't use it, but 'tis part of my job. It's definitely not a normal experience for regular people. And speaking of favorites, I absolutely love this House Labs concealer. Many times I use it just as an all-over complexion product, so I'll just put some here and there and use it as foundation. It blends seamlessly into the skin. It doesn't crease quite as much as the super hydrating concealers I have. I find this one's a little illuminating. I love it. I love it so much. And I've used quite a bit, even though you can't really tell. I am in 01 Fair Neutral. Iris and Romeo is another brand in 2023 that I really got to dive into and enjoy. So I am going to keep this concealer. I haven't had it for very long. I'm not really sure where I stand on it, so I'm definitely going to give it some more love because this is a fairly new launch from them. These Pro Fix Sticks from NYX are very new. They just launched them in like December 2023, and this one is in the shade Alabaster, and it's just a concealer stick. Unfortunately, I don't like the way this looks on my skin. It gets quite cakey on me. I just don't like it. I'm going to keep it just because I'm going to do a video on it, but, you know, expect my review to be not so great. So I am going to put a yellow tag on it. I want to remember after that video to get rid of it. The green version, I'm just going to pass along altogether. I'm going to cut off the tip part that I have used. I don't like it for the same reasons I don't like the regular one. And this green is intense and it's hard for me personally to cover up, so anything that takes more work than necessary is not staying. All that being said, I do like the correcting concealer in the shade Pink. This reminds me of that Ulta Beauty one in a stick, and for some reason just using it sparingly under the eyes for some color correction, especially if I'm just like on the go. I don't really need to like stick my finger in a pot for this. I like it, so I'm going to keep it. This Burt's Bees Illuminating Eye Balm sounded really good. It has a nice kind of in-between concealer and peachy shade. The balm part of it makes it impossible to wear with other makeup, and even if you're just wearing it by itself, it's going to crease like insane. So I'm going to get rid of this one. I also have the Glossier concealer. I'm going to keep it. I just used it for a video, so I don't have it over here. Beauty Pie Super Luminous Under Eye Genius Corrector. This is definitely similar to the Becca and Smashbox corrector. I am going to pass this along. Beauty Pie is not like readily accessible to everyone. Oh, hello! I don't really feature it very much, so I'm going to pass it along. I'm going to keep this e.l.f. Putty Color Correcting Eye Brightener. I have the pink shade. This is very good to hold on to as a content creator for a drugstore version of a color corrector. I would say it's like medium between hydrating and dry, so it's not going to slip everywhere, but it also doesn't look super cakey under my eyes, so it's a winner. These two might not look like it, just, you know, sitting beside each other, but this is a dupe of this. This is the Exa High Fidelity Color Corrector in pink. This is my first one that I bought, so I definitely know it's expired, but it's so good. I'm going to pass it along, and I definitely don't think I'm going to repurchase because the Ulta Beauty Color Correcting Concealer in pink is an exact formula dupe, color dupe, everything. I love it. It's fantastic, and it's only like $10 compared to $20 plus for the Exa one. Good job, Ulta. Another drugstore option that I'm keeping. LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is like the OG, what started it all, in the shade Cool Pink. It's a lot thicker than the Ulta Beauty one that I love so much. This is going to be on the watch list because I have others that I really love, and this one's not getting reached for, even though it's very good. I'm going to add that watch list sticker. Half Caked Star Bright Color Corrector in the shade Beam Me Up. This has a little more peach to it. I really love the formula of this. This is one that I can get away with just wearing on its own. as a corrector and a concealer. The price is right and the formula is too, so it's a keeper. Okay, I didn't do as well as I had hoped. I only got rid of 9, but let's go ahead and put these away because I love the clicky sounds. Great, let's move on to skin tints, which I just keep on the other side of my concealer. Honestly, I reach for skin tints a lot more than I do most foundation. This is the Super Serum tint from Relove. It's one of the millions of sub-companies of Makeup Revolution. This is like $3, however, and if buying from Makeup Revolution doesn't bother you, it's actually very beautiful. It really sits nicely on the skin and just looks fresh and dewy. So I'm getting rid of this, but it's still great. Next up is the Jane Iredale Hydro Pure Tinted Serum. I have the shade Fair. I actually really love this. This is like as much coverage as the Glossier like original skin tint, which is, you know, barely any at all. But I love the way it looks on my skin, especially on those no makeup days. It's a keep. I have definitely fallen in love with this CL Tint and Protect. It has SPF 50, which is amazing. No, it doesn't count as your total SPF for your face. It's always better to have extra. I love the formula of this. I'm in 01 Ivory. I find it sits really nicely on my dry skin and doesn't cling to any patches. It looks really skin-like and almost undetectable. It's a keep faux show. This to me is a no-brainer, the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin. I am in the shade 1. This is, I mean, point blank, it's my current favorite skin tint. Juicy, hydrated looking skin. This is it. I absolutely love it. I already have a backup. It's amazing. So after this went viral on TikTok, of course I had to try it for myself. This is the Hourglass Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. I got the shade 1. This is just not that impressive to me, to be honest. It is not really all that hydrating on my dry, dehydrated skin. To me, it's just meh. And for something this expensive, I need it to be a lot more than meh. So I am going to say goodbye to this one. This is brand spanking new. This is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. Okay, this is also called a Hydro Fresh Tint, just like that one from Jane Iredale. A little bit drier, definitely more matte. This launched in December 2023, and when I'm filming this December, it's still trucking. It's not January yet. I'm going to try it with several different bases underneath because I just think, especially because I was just getting over COVID, I think this just needs a different kind of base, so I'm going to keep playing with it. This is at least $20, so I got mine for $18 off of CVS, but I saw on Ulta it's like $21. It's going on the watch list. I've only tried it once, but I'm still going to place it on the watch list because it's expensive for something that might not work for me. And it really says a lot for it to be brand spanking new, and I'm already putting it on the watch list, so keeping it for now. We need a new bottle of this, but this is an amazing, underrated, nobody talks about it tinted moisturizer from Ulta Beauty. I have the shade Fair. Surprise, surprise. This is a dupe for this Say Slip Tinted SPF. Exact formula dupe, it's exact finish dupe, it's exact dupe, okay? I actually did a video quite a while ago comparing these two, and definitely save your money and try the Ulta Beauty one. This one used to be my favorite until the Yummy Skin came in. This is the Tower 28 Sunny Days Tinted Sunscreen, and I am in the shade Fairfax. This sits beautifully on my dry skin. It has more coverage than you would expect. I love the formula. I love that it is safe for sensitive skin. It's a winner and a keeper. And last but not least, for my tints is the Best Skin Days from Iris and Romeo. This is a skincare and coverage little combo. I have not used this nearly enough to have an opinion on it. This came from me looking for a dupe of the Chantecaille skin tint, and it's pretty dang close. It's not as glowy as the Chantecaille, so I am going to keep this. So boo me, only got rid of 2 skin tints, but it's honestly like my favorite thing. Voila, concealers and skin tints done. Now let's move on to more fuller coverage foundations and cream foundations. Starting off with the Monica Blunder Beauty Blunder Cover. This can be used as a concealer or all over complexion. I have the shade 1. I have hardly used it. To me, this is not hydrating enough to be a concealer or an all over product. It is definitely not my favorite, so I'm going to get rid of it. This is the Salt New York Sneaky Balm, a very dewy sheer coverage tint. It's easy to apply and great for travel, so I'm going to keep those. Ritual Defeat 3-drop weightless serum foundation. This has a ton of coverage. It looks best when I really prep my skin well, even though it's an oil, kind of like that Kosas oil tint. This is just that with, 100 times more, more coverage. I don't reach for this as much as I thought I would. This is on the fence, but staying for now. This is the Clover by Cloven Hollow Skin is In Serum Foundation. Now this has coverage and it's so dewy. It looks really gorgeous on the skin. Nobody talks about Clover by Cloven Hollow. I'm not honestly sure how much longer they can sustain their brand, but I love working with them and I love this. So definitely going to keep. The Ulta Beauty Complexion Crush. It's just not my favorite. It claims to have a natural finish, which on my dry skin ends up looking a little too drying. So it's a go one. Is the Exa High Fidelity Semi-Satin Foundation. My skin does not like this. It looks dry and cakey. I actually bought this bottle after having a bottle before just because I thought, hey, maybe it was my skin then. But no, my skin now doesn't enjoy it either. I'm going to keep the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Foundation because I finally figured out how to make it work for my skin. When I first purchased this, when it first launched, I did not like it because it said serum. I did not expect it to be as full coverage as it is. And I found that I really need a moisturized kind of slippy base, but if I have that, it really works beautifully. And I also like to add a drop or two to her Yummy Skin tint just to give it a little bit more coverage, so I'm keeping this. This is Smashbox's Always On Skin Balancing Foundation. To me, this is neither here or there. It's not wowing in any capacity. It's not amazingly good. It's also not horribly bad. And it's pricey. So I am going to get rid of this one. This is a Glossier Stretch Fluid Foundation. I got the shade Very Light 2. I wanted to love this so bad. I used it multiple times and I could not get it to look good on my skin. It actually pooled in every single pore and crevice that I had. Just looking at it and knowing the aesthetic of Glossier, you would think that it would just glide beautifully on the skin, but that is not the case for me. Ugh, it pains me because I really just bought this, but it doesn't work for me, so away it goes. The House Labs foundation, however, is one of my top foundations. People say that it has a glowy finish, but I find that it's really flexible. It's going to have the finish of whatever you put underneath it. Now for me, that is typically a glowy base, but if you were to mattify your skin with a mattifying primer, it's going to give you that as well. I find it's really flexible. You can shear it down or build it up. It just looks amazing. I grab this when I need something a little more full coverage. It lasts all day long. The e.l.f. Flawless Satin Foundation. I got the shade Swan. I have only kept this around because as a content creator, need drugstore options. But to me, this isn't hydrating enough. It does look very beautiful on the skin, but over time it does sink into my pores and fine lines, especially in the nose area, so I am going to pass this along. It doesn't feel as bad because it's e.l.f., that Exa and Glossier one were much more expensive, so it hurt a little bit, but even though e.l.f. is getting up there and up there every day. Is the Mob Beauty Cream Clay Ceramide Foundation, shade Neutral 20. I have shade 10, which is actually a better color match for me, so I am going to pass this particular one along. My correct shade is in a face palette that I created with the Mob Beauty system, so I'm definitely keeping the correct shade of this. 20 shade is going in the no pile. This is the Westman Atelier Stick Foundation. I'm in the shade Atelier 0. This is one that I kept in my last declutter because I was like, oh, maybe I can find a way to use it, and I absolutely have, and I've been reaching for it quite a bit. I find that an oil-based primer really loves this stick foundation, and if I use it, it looks fantastic on the skin. You can shear it out or build it up. It's hella expensive, but it looks really beautiful, so I'm going to keep it. And again, from Yenza is the Super Serum Silk Foundation. I've only tried this maybe once or twice, and when you read the back, it sounds perfect. And it has a trending ingredient called ferulic acid, and you're going to find that in a lot more skincare these days. I'm going to give it a yellow tag. It's going to be on the watch list, just like the concealer, because something very brand new as of this time. This just launched December 2023. It is the Camo Hydrating CC Cream. It claims to have a dewy finish. I did have the original, and I liked it well enough. This one to me is honestly not that different. I think it has a little bit less coverage. I still have to go in with a very hydrating base. For some reason I feel like there's a lot less product in this than the original, and as we all know, e.l.f.'s prices are skyrocketing, just like everything else, to be honest. I'm gonna keep it, but I'm side-eyeing it, you know? I'm not gonna quite put it on the watch list yet, but I like it enough to keep it. This is another multi-use product, can be used for foundation or concealer. It claims to be 2-in-1. This has the most coverage you could possibly imagine. This is the Danessa Myricks Vision Cream Cover. I'm in N01. I keep this around in case I want to add more coverage to anything else. And you need half of a pump at most. Like, this is potent, powerful stuff. I'm gonna keep it. Alright, the Huda Beauty Luminous Matte Foundation. I have the shade Angel Food. Just hearing the word matte made me not want to try it, but it actually looks pretty good on the skin. I am not going to keep it because I'm not reaching for it amongst things that I like better, but it's pretty decent. If you have dry skin, don't be afraid to try it. This Fit Glow Beauty Foundation says use within a year. I love the finish of this. It's really nice and glowy. It has that same thick consistency that covers redness and pigmentation very well. I'm not the biggest fan of the doe foot applicator. Mine is, in fact, kind of smelling like Play-Doh. I'm going to keep it and put a watch list sticker on it just to remind myself to repurchase it, not necessarily keep and use, you know what I mean? Miss this little guy. This is another Vision Cream cover, except for this one is in white. To lighten foundations. I even used it on Halloween for some of my looks, so this definitely comes in handy every now and then. Gonna keep it. LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. This is a new bottle. I love this foundation. It's definitely not very long wearing, but it's nice and juicy looking on the skin. Really beneficial ingredients, and it's quote-unquote affordable. So I'm keeping this. Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation. I have the shade 2. This is absolutely expired. I bought it when she first launched her foundations. As I collect Lisa Eldridge things as much as I can. They are pricey, but she is a wonderful makeup artist who understands formulas, color, tones, and saturation, so probably won't be using this unless I buy another one, but I'm gonna keep it because look at it. It's so unique and cool. I got rid of 8 foundations, so let's pack up the keepers. Even though I kept quite a lot, this is much better. I want to be able to give everything as much spotlight and love as I can, so this definitely helps. Stay tuned for more declutters. They are definitely coming. If you like declutters or beauty content, don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, be blessed and be kind, and we'll see each other again, or at least my hands, very, very soon. Bye!